Hey Bob, it's going to be another video of another repair I'm doing on it, apart from everything else. I've known this has been a problem, but I haven't been able to do anything to it because I've had the car disconnected from the battery. The problem was with the front seat. I figured there was something broke on it, and sure as heck there was. I took it out the other day before I went out of town over the weekend. 2 bolts in the back, just little fork stick in the front, comes right out, it's no problem. And then I got it all apart. I've already gotten it repaired, putting it back together now. And here it is. You're probably like, good gravy, how do you ever put that back together? Well, I'll show you what was the matter with it first. See that weld? That was broken. It was shot. And I found a guy on Craigslist in the neighborhood. That's what it ought to look like. And this had, I'll show you here. Right here, there was a bunch of metal gone, broken weld. It was just separated completely. And it was also separated right there. Here's the one original. There's the one that broke. They fit together. It just needed to be re-welded. So I stripped everything down. These were out. This was out. All this was out. You can see the bolts there. The bolts there. There. You undo that and the whole bottom chassis comes off, but you got to disconnect it from that, you got to disconnect it from there. A couple roll pins, punch out. Yeah, you can see one right there. That's called a roll pin. That right there. And you just punch it out, it expands and kind of holds itself in place. He charged $75 to fix it, and I know, but I wanted to do it. So I got it all back together, put it back in the car, and it's working now. Till the next weld breaks. So then, these are just for the seat. They slip down over that, and then you start putting the cushions, slip the cushions back on, and there's no staples, everything just kind of lifts over the edge of a piece of metal. It's not a big deal. A little pushing and pulling. Broke this when it came off. It just holds, I pulled straight out after looking at it. I should have lifted it off. Yeah, see, it just sets on that piece of metal there. It's not structural or anything like that, it's just for looks. So airbag, controls, miscellaneous. I don't know what that piece is for. Found it on the floor. So but that's what we're doing. It's back together, it's working, so I just tighten the bolts down and start putting it all back together. Works great. Here we are, a couple hours later, sorted through it all. Biggie. Interesting how they're made. These 2 pieces back here I had to add. There's some big brackets in there I showed you earlier. I glued back together and they just popped right off. I figured they would. That just holds it on, keeps them flapping.